Hey mates, and welcome to a final episode on the Haslab LeoKiser experience. Because it has been an experience. And today I wanted to do one last little compare and contrast video. I know I said the last one was going to be it, but I just felt that one was going a bit over time towards the end there and decided that I'd cut this bit out and put it in a separate video because it's just this one's more on the fun side. So, today we are going to compare and contrast two 7th members to 6-member teams. We have the 7th member of the Constructicons, Road Hauler, and we have the 7th member of the LeoKiser group, the Breast Force, or Chest Masters, Death Cobra. So, without further ado, please like, share, and subscribe to help me reach a larger audience. To help me raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired, and also to help me reach more blind and visually impaired people out there, to show them how Transformers can really assist in developing that mind-hand coordination that you desperately need when you lose your vision. So, let's get into these two fun little guys. They are both very interesting figures as 7th members. If you don't know anything about them, Road Hauler here, which I have him backwards. But, blind people problems. I don't even know how I missed that. Here we go. Road Hauler here is a, the story as I understand it is he was a BotCon repaint of another figure back in the day. And then they made a little backstory for him. Because in the original G1 show, a green and purple crane truck named Hauler assists in getting Optimus Prime out of a ravine, if I'm remembering it right. Now, Hauler isn't ever seen again, but Hauler is interesting because Hauler here, they came up with a really cool story for him, and his story is that he was a member of the Constructicons. He was one of the Constructicons, but the day where they showed up, I think it was Crystal City or something, the city they destroyed after getting reprogrammed by Megatron's machine. He was out that day. He was sick or something. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he's probably just had a smaller job to do, or he had to go and file paperwork with the local government or something like that. He just did a small one-person task and split off from the rest of the team. They went and handled the big stuff, and he had to do the bureaucracy thing. And he's gone. So he wasn't there the day they got reprogrammed. Now, they were his friends. They were his team. But they're no longer there. And he starts going on a hunt to find them and doing research to try and figure out how to deprogram, how to fix what Megatron had done. It's been a fruitless search for Hauler, but he continues to do that. He doesn't fight the Decepticons very often because he doesn't really want to hurt any other Autobots that have been forcibly transformed into Decepticons. He feels empathy for them, and that's why you don't ever see him in the show, because he's not going to be in the battle. He's going to be in the background researching how to fix the Constructicons, and didn't even know they were on Earth to begin with until after Heavy Metal War. But that's the little backstory on Hauler here, and I like that backstory for Hauler. Yeah, does he have gun cannons now? Yeah, why not? I mean, cannons are cool. I like giving characters gun cannons. They're just nice. But you can rotate them backwards. He is, of course, the grapple mold from back in Transformers Earthrise, and this guy was a Velocitron exclusive. And then we have over here Death Cobra. Death Cobra's backstory, which you've probably heard it a bunch already, but I'll say it anyway. So this character named Hellbat was not liked by Leozak. Leozak was like, I need to get this Starscream sounding guy up out of my life. And he decided to hire Death Cobra. And he told Hellbat he's fired. But Hellbat's a good manipulator, manipulated the name of Death Cobra out of Leozak. And something like, oh man, that sucks. Well, who's the new guy going to be? I could really help him out and stuff. And Leozak totally falls for it. and gives Hellbat the information he needs to track down Death Cobra. And then Hellbat shows up to see Death Cobra, and they get an altercation because Hellbat's like, I want to be the arm of LeoKiser. You can't be the arm of LeoKiser. I want my job. Tell him you don't want the job. And Death Cobra's like, nah, man, this is my way out. Like, this is, I'll be in the big leagues now. I don't care. You know, I'm the Breast Force member nobody talks about. Everybody forgets I exist, but I got one of them animals on my chest too. And so they get in a little fight about it. And why does this keep doing that? Stop that. All right, there it goes. And anyway, in the altercation, in the fight, Hellbat ends up killing Death Cobra and leading Death Cobra to only have a small part to play in the show. A longer part than Hauler, but still just as small of a part to play as Hauler. So I like the idea of comparing the two figures together. They got very interesting backstories. One of them is dead. The other one is kind of a little bit dead inside. And today, where I'm going to compare the two figures together, and also you talk about the differences between an Earthrise, a Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise Voyager class figure, and a Transformers Legacy United, as this guy's called, but he's really Age of the Primes, Voyager class figure. All right, because without a doubt, the members of LeoKiser, every single one of them, I would classify as Voyager class. But that's my opinion. You can have your own. Now let's give these guys a side-by-side comparison. We get that that Death Cobra's shoulder top comes up to be almost at the top of Hauler's shoulders. If Hauler didn't have these shoulder pauldrons that stuck up a bit, I'm pretty sure. Let's just move your arm forward. Actually, we can do it that way and compare. And there we go. Yeah, so halfway up the shoulder, a little more than half. There it goes, right there. Yeah. And comparing them face to face. Let's make sure you're actually straightened out, Death Cobra. Did I not have you straight? Oh, I didn't actually have him straightened. Oh no. Let's look at that one more time. We're gonna put you guys side by side one more time after I straighten your legs. No, Hauler's still taller. Hauler's still taller. And then there we go. The top of Death Cobra's head goes to the collarbone for Road Hauler here. Weight-wise, funny enough, they actually kind of weigh about the same. Hauler is still a heavier Transformer, but Death Cobra's not far behind. Plastic-wise, I like Death Cobra's plastic more than I like the plastic that Hauler's made out of, that's for sure. And articulation-wise, they have very similar articulation. They both have elbow joints, though I believe Hauler's elbow joints, no, they both had the same amount of range on the elbows. Hauler can't twist his hands, but I believe Death Cobra can twist his hands. Yes, he can. And Death Cobra has waist articulation. Hauler has waist articulation. They both have the joints in the legs. They both have good knee bend. Hauler's knee bend's a little more than 90. Death Cobra's knee bend is exactly at 90. And then Hauler has a better foot than Death Cobra when it comes to the articulation of the feet. Death Cobra's feet are just kind of, the foot moves around, the front of the foot moves around, but not really the back of the foot or the heel. So I think it's a nice little comparison. And of course, Death Cobra has one up on Hauler. Death Cobra can actually transform into an arm. I would like to know why it is that Death Cobra has the ability to transform into an arm. He was just like an extra arm guy, which kind of makes me wonder, what was the combiner team that Death Cobra came from? Did Death Cobra come from an entirely different combiner team, all of which were destroyed by the Autobots? Or destroyed by some other force in the past? Like, he's just kind of a lone gunner, but he becomes a combiner limb. So where's the rest of his combiner? But I just kind of wanted to compare and contrast the seventh member of the teams. I think that both of these are really well done. I like Death Cobra here, but I like him on the stand. And something else I want to talk about Death Cobra, seeing as, and we can bring Hauler off to the side. Now we're going to have a little more fun with Death Cobra. And this is the fun part I was talking about a minute ago. So Death Cobra here, because of this long tail behind him, He just gives me Waspinator vibes. He gives me extreme Waspinator vibes, and ever since I had that thought, now the voice in my head whenever I'm messing with Death Cobra is Waspinator, and he's like, "Oh, Death Cobra doesn't like the Hellbat coming by. What does the Hellbat want with the Death Cobra? Oh." I can't get it out of my head. That Death Cobra is just Waspinator's, Waspinator's a reincarnation of Death Cobra. I'm just going to say it, okay? Waspinator's Spark was a reincarnation of Death Cobra's Spark, just down the line or something, because I can't get it out of my head. It's just great. Oh, Death Cobra's gonna make it big! Death Cobra's gonna be up there with the big bots! He's going to be a member of a combiner team again! Oh, Death Cobra's excited! That sounds better in my head. I could do it better in my head, but I just wanted to bring that up to you. That's now my headcanon, that Death Cobra is totally an ancestor of Waspinator. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I believe, all in all, this Haslab experience for Transformers has been the best Transformers Haslab experience. Are there some small things that I don't like? Yeah. But for the majority of this guy has been a lot of fun. I thought RID, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus were the best experience I had so far. But no. This is the best experience. These 7 figures are each individual. They feel good, and they meld well together. They feel like an absolute team of combiners. And the experience, all in all, has been great. Do I want the transformations to be a little more complicated? Yeah. But at the same time, that combination was complicated. Everything about this guy has been excellent to behold, and I am glad I backed this figure. Will I be backing the next Haslab? Yeah, for Transformers, so long as it isn't something that's $500 or more, without a doubt I'm going to be backing the next Haslab from Transformers, because I have not been dissatisfied. The worst one so far was Victory Saber, in my opinion. Victory Saber was nice, but his transformation was so lackluster. It was just kind of he's pretty, but that's all I got. And the best one so far is LeoKiser. Though I did have it as RID 2001, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus, because I love the Optimus Prime mold. I think it fits great in the Alternators collection. I love the Ultra Magnus mold. I think it fits great into any of my Generation Scale collection. Like that Optimus Prime, I was annoyed with its size at first until I realized I could use that Prime to just kind of hang out amongst my alternators and really fill out my alternators collection quite nicely. And that was what I suggested to all of you, my listeners and viewers out there. All of you should try doing that in the future, to put your, if you have an RID 2001 Optimus Prime that was a Haslab, you put it amongst your alternators and look at the size comparison there. You will be pleasantly surprised, in my opinion. But that's all I've got to say so far. This is an S-ranked experience, all in all. I have absolutely enjoyed it. I don't have any buyer's remorse here. This was almost perfect. Just little things that were upsetting, but that's excellent in my opinion, because it left me wanting more. And I was not dissatisfied, and that is for sure. Am I a satisfied customer? You betcha. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next Prime. Bye-bye for now.